There's actually a simple 4-step process that if you follow religiously, it will guaranteed make 2025 the year you finally make it. Now, why should you listen to me? That's actually a pretty good question. I am the laziest 26-time procrastinator of the year world champion who built a 6-figure business in less than a year from scratch with 30 pounds overweight and without having to sacrifice Netflix or junk food or so if I could make it, you could too. Now, the 4-step process is actually pretty simple. You need 4 things. You need a clear destination of where you're going. You need the right vehicle to take you there. You need the right type of fuel for that vehicle. And you need a roadmap to navigate all of this. And I'm going to give you all 4. All right, first things first, you need to have a crystal clear vision of what success is to you. You know, Seneca, the philosopher, has a saying, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. So you cannot become successful if you do not know what success looks like, but most importantly, what it looks like to you, and not what a bunch of influencers and gurus told you what it's supposed to be. And the only way to know that is to ask yourself, why do you want to become successful? I mean, you're constantly asking how to get the things you want, but have you actually ever sat down and asked yourself, why do you want them? I'm not saying this in a condescending way, but like really, truly take a good look in the mirror and dig deep within you. And you'll find out that most of the goals you have are either a front for deeper issues and insecurities that no amount of money will fix, or you have goalflation, meaning that Hollywood and social media have programmed you to think that you need all of this money and these material possessions to be happy and satisfied and fulfilled. While in reality, that might not be what success is to you. I'm not saying don't make money. Make no mistake, money is extremely important, but it's just fuel. And you don't buy a car to put fuel in it. You buy a car to reach a destination. And in order for you to have a clear vision of what that destination is, you need mental clarity. We live in a time where our brains are being constantly overstimulated. Everyone is chasing cheap dopamine. Everyone is in a constant state of brain fog to the point where it became almost impossible for 99% of the people to just literally sit quietly and think, let alone do anything intellectually challenging for an extended period of time. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. See, you could use this to your advantage because in a world where literally everyone is doing the bare minimum just to get by, all you have to do is show up and put in the work. But in order to do that, you must clear out your own brain fog. And the easiest way to do it is by making your daily life so boring for your brain that it has no other choice but to default back to doing the work. Look, I'm not telling you to eliminate distractions, but rather delay them. I built a 6-figure business without eliminating anything. I simply had a simple reward system where I would not treat myself until I have done everything I had to do that day. And to be honest, most of the days I was literally too tired to do anything. So I'll just go to sleep. Now, you're not going to do this for the rest of your life, obviously, but just for the next 12 months, truly give it everything you have. And by the end of the year, when you've achieved all of your goals, at least you'll have the luxury to choose between continuing to live an extreme life or creating a balanced one. Once you have a clear vision of what your destination is, you need to choose the right vehicle that will get you there. And what no guru tells you is that this decision could either make or break your chances of success. Now, unless you want to become a billionaire, you really don't need to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, you don't need a once-in-a-generation idea. All you literally need is to find a proven business model, find a way to differentiate yourself from the competition, and stick to it long enough to be able to get enough feedback to adapt accordingly. Look, the truth is, All the business models that these gurus talk about, literally all of them, dropshipping, SMMA, Amazon FBA, this new IPGA thing, SaaS, drop service, and all of them, they all work. The reason you didn't succeed in any of them, you either underestimated the amount of work it takes to make it, or you didn't stick to it long enough to have enough data and feedback on what worked and what didn't so that you can adapt accordingly, or you're literally just like thousands of other wannapreneurs who do exactly the same thing, or most importantly, you chose the wrong business model for you at that stage of your life, meaning you chose a business model that requires a level of skill or business acumen or capital or connections that you don't have yet. This is why, and I cannot stress this enough, choosing the right vehicle for you at this stage of your life and leaning into things where you have an edge is extremely important, because you could be doing everything right. You can be working super hard, but if it's the wrong vehicle, if it's the wrong business model, you'll just be spinning your wheels. Now, in order to use that vehicle to get to your destination, you need to put fuel in it. Earlier in the video, I told you that money is fuel, but it's not the only type of fuel. Before I explain this any further, I want you to replace the word fuel with leverage. Naval Ravikant has a concept called the 4 C's of leverage. Collaboration, where you leverage other people's time and labor. Capital, leveraging money. Code, leveraging software. And content, where you leverage media. Now, I want you to ask yourself, at this stage of your life, right now, which one of these C's can you leverage to get to your destination? If the answer is none, then the only thing you can leverage is your own time and labor. So how do you do that? Start by setting one big measurable goal, not 17 New Year resolutions, just one goal. This time we're just going to focus on one. For example, making $100,000 by December 31st, right? So for example, your goal would be to make $100,000 by December 21st, right? Now, most people think that progress or success looks like this. But in reality, progress looks like this. There would be, so for example, this is a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter, right? This is a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter. This would be April, I guess. This would be June. This would be September. Now, progress, like real progress in the real world, there would be times where there would be very little to no results. So for example, in the first quarter, you'd be making $0. Then the second quarter, you'd make $5K. Then the third quarter, you'd make, I don't know, $15K. And then the fourth quarter, you'd make $70K, right? This is what progress actually looks like. Now, what you need to do is to take this goal and break it down into quarterly and monthly and then weekly milestones. Look, I used to set these huge goals that they felt out of reach, so much so that I would procrastinate on them for months. And then a year later, I would wonder, how the hell did this happen again? See, the problem is not the goal itself. I mean, dreaming is free. If you're gonna dream, might as well just aim high. The problem is not being able to take that big, scary goal and break it down to actionable tasks that you can tackle today. Without that, it will always feel impossible to achieve. Once you have these daily tasks that you can do, I want you to identify the one thing that if you do consistently would make it impossible for you not to succeed. Let me give you a personal example. My goal this year for this YouTube channel is to reach 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Now, am I going to achieve it? I don't know. And to be honest, probably not. But the one thing I do know is that if I keep making videos that you find valuable consistently, and that each video I make is better than the one before, then in 12 months, I'm going to be a hell of a lot closer to my goal than I am today. That's the one thing for me that if I do consistently, it would make it impossible for me not to achieve my goal. And the trick is to obsess not over the goal itself, but over the things that you need to do to get you there. I'm not obsessing over 250,000 subscribers. I'm obsessing about making great videos that you find valuable. Once I had this paradigm shift and I started applying it in every goal I have, life turned into a video game. But this only works if first you focus on needle movers. I mean, stop putting 12 different tasks on your to-do list and crossing off the easy, less urgent ones, while the hard, uncomfortable tasks that are actually the needle movers are sitting up top collecting dust. And look, I know this because I did it too, okay? Listen, I started YouTube 5 years ago. And the reason I'm still at 3,000 subscribers is because in the last 3 years, I made exactly 4 videos. And I keep telling myself it's because I was busy building real shit in the real world and I'm not your typical guru. And while that's true, it's also just cope. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars on gear and software that I barely used. I binge watched hundreds of hours of content on how to make great videos. I've done everything but make videos. I told you I'm a world procrastinating champion. And second, you got to show up every day. Look, most of the people who are successful, they got lucky. They don't like to say it, but they got lucky. And when I say lucky, I don't mean some obscure power of the universe. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And you cannot miss a lucky day if you show up every day. Obsess over the process. Give yourself 1 year, just 1 year of no day offs where you pour every ounce of blood, sweat, and caffeine into your goals. You owe it to yourself and to the people that are counting on you. Now you have your destination, the right vehicle, and fuel to put into that vehicle. All you need now is a roadmap to show you how to get there. And in this video, I give you the secret roadmap that I and all of your favorite gurus have used to build their wealth faster than the average person. So click on the video and I'll see you there.